people, when they talk about young folks and leadership, they say that you guys are the leaders of tomorrow. I say you are certainly the leaders of tomorrow, but you're the leaders of today. And our young people are driving us towards where we need to go more than ever. So many times in so many places, whether it be sort of March for Your Lives and young people taking the lead on addressing gun violence and saying, this is not a normal we can accept with all these school shootings, or with the climate strikes, and young people saying, adults, you need to do better, you need to do more, you need to address the climate crisis for what it is and raise the level of urgency and the aggressiveness of the response. Young people are changing our lives for the better. And so, anyone who says it's not your time, it is your time, and your time is now. I think authenticity is a big part of it. Like, I think a lot of people, when they leave, they're like, okay, I'm in this leadership position, I have this title, I'm supposed to be a certain way, I'm supposed to act a certain way, I'm supposed to talk a certain way. And I think none of that is true. I think, I think it's important not to project and channel some vision of the leadership position that you're in, but just be you. Like, for me, I still find it weird when people call me the assembly member or the assembly member, or like, I'm just Rob. I've been Rob my whole life. That's who I am now, and I want to be accessible. I live in this district. I'm a constituent of this district, just like everybody else. We're neighbors. We live in this community together. I happen to have the ability right now to take votes that can improve the life outcomes of our community. So, but it's not some pedestal or some special, existence on another level. We're on the same level. We're all in this together. We're all in that same circle.
What advice can you give us on being more authentic in the job, in the work that we do when we're connecting with people and when we're working outside of our comfort zone?
Yeah, great question. Thank you. Just be you. Tell your story, I think, is super important. A lot of people have a really hard time doing that because they don't like to talk about themselves. And that was me. I hated it. Now I'm like too good at it. All I do is talk about myself. My staff's like rolling their eyes all the time. But people want to know who you are, what moves you, what your story is, what your background is. When they hear, your sort of your path to where you are, I think they understand you more, and they want that, and they should have that. They should know who their elected leader is and what drives that person, what makes them tick, etc. So I am more comfortable sharing it, and other people should too. And a lot of times people feel embarrassed or stigmatized by some of their experience, like if they're an undocumented immigrant, or if their system's impacted and have spent time in a locked facility, or if they have been homeless for some part of their life, or whatever it may be. And I feel like absolutely no shame in that. We all have our stories. We all have our ups and downs in our lives. Lives sends you twists and turns and zigs and zags, and you're here now, and you're leading now. And that story, that experience can make you a better leader. It can help you understand more of the folks that you're fighting for. It can help you, give you a perspective or a resilience that makes you a better leader. So people have a hard time talking about themselves and their stories. They find sometimes their society makes them feel shame about certain parts of their lives. But I think just, that's part of authenticity. Owning your whole life and what you've experienced and what happened, mistakes you've made, parts where you feel like you haven't lived up to what you expected of yourself, but that's all okay. That's all of us. That's all of our lives. I try to never be in the Capitol if I don't have to be honest. I try to always be in my district with my people, with my family, with my community. That's who sent me there. That's who I'm fighting for. That's who grounds me, holds me accountable, keeps me honest. And so I come home every night from the Capitol. Most all of my colleagues who are from San Diego and LA and the Central Valley, pretty much anywhere outside of the distance that I am from the Capitol, which is about 86 miles, not that I've measured it and counted it, stays there from Sunday or Monday through Thursday. And being in that bubble, I think, is not always the best thing to do. So for me, being with my district, being with my people is where I want to be and where I am.
A challenge that we sometimes face is getting distracted by things that are happening around us. So what advice can you give us to focus on our work and in order to achieve our purposes, whether that's change in our communities or change within ourselves to develop a higher consciousness?
Tough one. You know, our world is crazy. Our lives are busy. Our lives are chaotic. They have a lot of stresses and strains. They have a lot of anxiety and worry. You know, our world is full of that right now with COVID-19. I think the stress levels and anxiety and ability to be distracted or to lose focus is high right now, but it's high all the time. And so for me, you know, if you're ever looking for that you know, that calm in the storm where everything stops and everything slows down and you can singularly focus on you know, your work or your internal development, like that's never going to happen in my view. The world only gets busier, it doesn't get slower. It is important to find time for yourself and self-care and quiet moments, and that's part of the ability to be sustainable. And everyone has their own thing that's their happy place that keeps them sane.